Great. All right. Everyone, my name is Tawai. I'm from InfoSys, and I'm here to talk to you about the company and the opportunities that we have for all of you. Just let's get started. Let's take a minute. I'm just trying to get into element, sorry. Well, just to begin with, how many of you, before you heard about this session today, already knew about at least the name InfoSys by a show of hands? Oh, that's quite a crowd, thank you. And how many of you actually know what we do? Again? Oh, you all know that, great. Does anyone want to raise their hands on the Zoom meeting as well? Like, yeah, let's move. Anyone on the Zoom meeting? Do you want to raise your hands or say or review about the company? Okay, no one. No problem. So, anyone here, do you just want to say what you knew about what we do? Anybody want to? Yes, please. Oh, okay, go on. We don't do that anymore, but please. Right, you're right, basically right. So yes, but a good talking point. I'll come back to that later. But yes, anyone else? Consulting, yeah, great point. Yes, of course, that's what we do, technology consulting. Yeah, anyone else? Yeah. Sorry? That sums up everything? No. Yes, please. Digital service, good. Good, somebody's been doing their homework and reading at least. So yeah, digital service. Yeah. Oh, 300,000. Okay. So, well, yes. So InfoSys is a technology services company. So what we do is we build softwares simply, and we also consult. Now, we're not a Microsoft or a Google, right? Because you know the names of those companies who build softwares. So why are we suddenly standing here and telling you we build softwares too? Because we build softwares, just not like Microsoft or Google, just not for the clients, not for the customers directly, like not for everyone. What we build is we build the softwares for an organization at a large scale level, right? So let's say, for example, how many of you have heard about Amazon Go? Yeah? Okay, one person? Okay, all right. So Amazon, okay. So Amazon Go is incredibly exciting. What is this? So Amazon started to do something where no person will be required for your entire shopping experience, and you would literally have to carry nothing to shop. So basically, you walk into a store, you can just pick stuff up and put it in your box and walk out with it. That's it. Now, this sounds a little bit absurd, right? Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to track what you've chosen? Who's going to understand? Well, there's a clear way of understanding. It's about putting the weight in the box and then putting it back up. There are cameras tracking your movements. There are sensors which are tracking the weight and also your face. Scary, but true. So everybody, there's a facial recognition ID. So everybody knows what you look like, and your wallet is actually connected with your face. So you, the person, the moment you go in, you can just like come out without paying for it, but then your wallet is going to be debited. So this is something that we built with Amazon. So now Amazon needed services that Amazon didn't have. Similarly, a lot of people need softwares that they have no knowledge about. So right from telling them what they need, which is the consulting part of it, to actually building the softwares for them, we do it all. So some of our biggest clients are across sectors. So right from retail to telecom to healthcare, mining, robotics, aerospace, everything that you can think about, we do it all. And that is exactly where you guys come in as well. Now, why do I have a problem with the term outsourcing? It's because we as a company, when we got started, we started quite some time back, and this is exactly where I want to tell you a little bit of a story because I have a lot of time in my hands. And I thought stories are always good ways of starting, right? Does anybody disagree? All right, no one, thank you. So, well, we started about 42 years back in 1981 in a small city of India called Pune. Now, in this city, no one back then, forget hearing about laptops or softwares, no one had a personal computer. People haven't even thought of computers. And that's where 6 young gentlemen left their well-paying, cushy jobs and decided to follow something they truly, truly believed in. And that is exactly how InfoSys, India's first startup, was launched. So 42 years back, we didn't have any angel investors. We didn't have any venture capitalists. The only seed funding we had was 250 US dollars, which in those days just was 10,000 Indian rupees. And today it would be around what? Quite a bit, at least 16,000 Indian rupees, $200. No, 200, 20,000. Yes, almost 16,000 Indian rupees. Yes. So it's a lot of money. And yes, prices have gone up. But back then, we started something we truly believed in. And not only that, we started to do way back, you know why InfoSys was started, or many companies like ours, like Tata Consultancy, and all of these companies were started around the same time, simply because of one reason. So the United States had a law which dictated that the companies that built the hardware could only be the companies building the software. However, they changed this law around late 1970s. And they said other companies could also build softwares that are not building the hardwares. And that's exactly companies like ours started coming in. Now, of course, that's exactly when we used to do outsourcing. Why? Because we were from India. We are a developing country. Labor force is cheap. And of course, there's a lot of talent. So when I say a lot of talent, just headcount wise, there's a lot of people basically. So we started building softwares for other companies outside of India. So that was outsourcing because we were outsourcing the whole work to a different country. But then 40 years down the line, a lot of things changed. The world changed, the economics of the world changed, people changed, the talent landscape changed, where India is today changed in general. As a result, we expanded to 50 countries. We are now present in 50 countries. We have 300,000 people working for us. And of that, about 60% now work in India. So the remaining 40% actually works outside of India, and they don't just work outside of India, they're from outside of India. They're not from India anymore. So the fact that I am standing here today to recruit Australian people is the very proof of the fact that we've stopped outsourcing. We don't outsource anymore. We do it ourselves. So we have Australian people building softwares for Australian companies. We have American people building softwares for American companies. You could also be building softwares for American or European companies, doesn't really matter. But really, the whole concept has stopped. So we are here today to hire you from this very country for this very country. And that is exactly where we stopped doing what we used to do 40 years back. So that being said, I just want to tell you one more tiny story about us. So when we started, those many years back, and this is something about InfoSys. This is what defines who we are and how we are as a company. So when we started all those many years back, of course, like I said, no one had any concept of computers or personal laptops and stuff. And we were trying to get one whole computer shipped to the country because we didn't have any. So it was getting shipped from US to India. Now, as it landed in the airport of Bangalore, middle of the night, the whole shipment came in parts. We had to assemble computers. If any of you are not from that era, even like from 10 or 15 years back, if you have heard your parents say something, you would know that back in the day, no one really bought a computer. They had to assemble every tiny piece. So we had to assemble every tiny piece of it. And of course, everything came in parts and there were multiple packages. And the customs officer there that night was really struck out and they were like, hey, what's happening? What are these things? I have no idea. So they called in our founders, and all 6 of them, they just left everything that they were doing middle of the night. They're at the Bangalore airport trying to solve this issue, trying to make a person who has no idea about computers understand what each part meant. So they literally picked out each part separately, like a keyboard. What is this? Why is it called a keyboard? Why are so many things in there? How is this going to operate? Everything. And customs officers do ask a lot of questions. That's their job. Now, what they did was they kept asking these questions, and each and every piece was taken apart and asked. Finally, they reached the motherboard. Now, as you know, the motherboard, even back in those days, used to be awfully small compared to what the whole system looked like. The whole system was gigantic, and the the monitor actually had a back like it was this huge, like it had a huge back and just the screen in front. And the motherboard was really tiny compared to that. Now, and it looks like a circuit, right? And they kept asking, what is this? What is this? Why is this thing so expensive? Because it is the most expensive part of the whole thing. So they kept asking, why is this thing so expensive? And why is it like so separate and so tiny? And they tried to make them understand that this is the main part, sir. This is what makes the computer run. So how does it make it run? Show us. We can't show you. We need a power connection. We need to assemble the whole thing. Oh no, you must be doing something wrong. And they kept on convincing for the whole night. And at the end of it, what they heard was, you're probably, smuggling drugs or something illegal inside this. That's why it's so expensive. And that blew their minds. What could have been like really easy as a way out from there? Like, what was it? Had you been one of our founders, what would have been your logical next step? Sorry? Build the computer in front? Yeah, but that's like awfully difficult. That's a specialist's job. Sorry? Good point. I like it. Yeah.
I think next workshop I would like to show them like how it works, like that, or like kind of like if they have a teacher or like a video teacher having something.
Yeah. No, darling, we had nothing back in those days barring papers. We only had papers, no videos. Videos was something that you bought tickets to and watched in a big theater. So yeah, well, of course, the smart way to do is bribe him something and just get out of there. Pack your bags and you're done. Well, call it stupid or what you may, they thought they'll not do it. They said, this is going to be our first asset and we're going to build the whole company based on this. We will not start it by bribing. So they went into a lawsuit, fought that lawsuit, spent 100,000 rupees and a lot of money basically went down the drain, fought a lawsuit for 7 years to get that very laptop, to get that very thing back. Like, They had the thing, but they just had to win the lawsuit. They had to prove that they were doing things legally and not illegally. And in these 7 years, a lot of things had changed, but something that didn't and that was never to change for Infosys is the value system. So that is what has been instilled in all of us. We are very common, normal people as a company. We hire very common, normal people who achieve or who aspire to do great things, who aspire to do big things, and who aspire to be like innovative, crazy, intelligent, but we're still very normal, common people rooted in our values. We don't want to do things the wrong way. We just want to do great things. So that is exactly how we became 40-year-old, and we still have the same values. And they etched their vision statement as well to say we're going to be one of the most respected companies in the world. And in 2020, Forbes actually ranked us as the world's 3rd most respected company. So, well, we are still not the most respected, but being 3rd amidst all of these companies in the world and ranked by Forbes means a lot. So we're there, not completely, but nearly. And that is the tiny story. Now, coming back to the point of where do you guys come in? So exactly, you can join our workforce in multiple ways. Of course, if you look up the website, there will be 100,000 ways in which you can join. However, some things that you can do is the Instep internship. And that's exactly what I'm here to talk about. The Instep internship was founded by, again, the same person whose story I was just saying, Mr. Narayan Murthy, our main founder, and he's the person who also founded the internship. His vision was to make sure that we are attracting talent from all different parts of the world, and we are making them understand what Infosys is. So we want to get people from different parts of the world. We work with universities across the globe, right from the Stanfords and the Harvards and the Oxford, Cambridges of the world, to every university that you can think of, like any name in Australia, any global name in UK, US, Europe, everywhere. So every university is a partner university for Instep. And we work to get interns to work with us. It started as an internship where we would invite everyone to come down to India to experience the campus as well as the company. Back when we were not so global, you would come down to the campus to experience the company as well as the country, and in a fully sponsored internship, everything was sponsored. But then we branched out globally, and we had the means where we could actually give you work in the country you are in. So now you get to do the internship right from where you are. So now we have Instep US, UK, Germany, Romania, Australia, and like many different locations. So we hire you in the location to work here for 8 weeks to understand the company, and then do some exciting work in an area where you are passionate about, which you are passionate, an area you are interested in, get great mentorship, and get a full-time job role after that. And that is exactly why I'm here. So that is the very short pitch about the internship. But yes, I would like to stop for a little bit and take some questions, and maybe answer the whole thing as a part of this. There's more, I'll come back to it, but yeah.
I have some on the chat.
Oh, great.
If anyone else has a question, I'll ask on behalf of Alana. I'm not sure if Alana people can hear me, but can international students apply to this program?
Yes, everyone can apply to this program. The only issue is that, like every other company in Australia and worldwide, the preference remains for domestic students and students with PR, but there is a way to apply. We'll take a look at your CV. We take a look at each and every CV, and we'll take a look at your CV, have a conversation with you, and come back to you.
Thank you. And the other question is this also open to engineering students?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is open to engineering students. I will come back to the whole process of recruitment.
I meant to say not doing engineering.
Not doing engineering. I would like to know then doing what?
Okay, I'll go back to the student, Alana. Okay, I'll go back to Alana and ask that.
Okay. Bachelor of International Studies. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that does not
No.
cut it out. I'm so sorry. But yes, everything else like does. Yeah. Like everything else, when I say everything else, I mean mainly science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So yeah. Yes, please.
What you guys go for an intern?
Sorry.
What you guys go for?
Right, great question. Yes, I will. Okay. So what do we look for in an intern? We are hiring an intern, and we are very cognizant of the fact that we're not hiring an expert. So what we typically look for is someone who wants to learn, and who wants to learn while they are an intern and otherwise. So basically, you keep on learning. You just need to have, it's good to have basically knowledge of a couple of programming languages. So if you have, let's say, a knowledge about C, C++, Python, Java, any one of them, any one language, a deep knowledge about any one language is great. So you can just go for it. I mean, while I'm at it, I will actually answer the question of the recruitment process. So basically, once you give your CV, like I said, we take a look at each and every CV that's been submitted, and we come back to you. We schedule a call with you. We try and understand what are your interest areas. So once you have told us about your interest areas, then we try to match you up to some of the mentors who are in those interest areas. So after that, once you've given the application and we've had a conversation and all of it, we've understood your interest areas, we schedule a test. So this test is like a written test, but of course it happens online. You don't have to go anywhere physically for this. So you get a link to turn up on a meeting and then give a test. So while you're giving this test, you have the, while you're giving this test, there are three portions. One is three sections, basically. One is a logical reasoning section where you have like verbal ability, mathematical, ability questions and logical reasoning, etc. The second is, it is a basic knowledge about your programming languages or computer science, like basic questions and all of that. And the third section is a piece of code. However, you can also write a pseudocode. You don't have to write a proper programming code. You can also write a pseudocode, or you can write a piece of code using any language you are comfortable in. Once you've done that, so anyone who is not a technical computer science or a computer engineering student probably wouldn't have that knowledge of programming languages. You can just write a pseudocode. So that's that. And finally, so once you clear this test, about anyone who scores about 70% and above, and trust me, it's not that difficult, you get to move to the next round. If you score a little less than that, we will keep that in mind. You're not like immediately brushed off. You're just there. And if you have 70% and above, immediately and move to the next round. And it's a mentor interview. So if the mentor feels that you are a good fit for this project, and you also, if you feel that this project is a good fit for your interests, then we match you up and your offer letter is released. In the scenario where either the mentor does not feel or you don't feel the project's a good fit or vice versa, we try and look for you a different project. So we don't brush off candidates immediately anyway. All candidates get a fair chance, and we make sure that you get an opportunity to practice for as long as we can try. Of course, once there's been like, let's say 3 rounds of interviews and finding something and all mentors are rejecting, then we might need to have a conversation and try and understand where the problem is. But we have usually seen people find a great project till then. Yeah, so that's the process. All right. Anyone else has any questions? Yes, please.
Ideally, what would an intern learn?
Oh,
Yeah, let's say you go in, what would you learn? Is it teamworking skills? Is it technical knowledge? What's the idea?
great question. So, an intern, when they get in, of course, like I said, we are looking for someone who's ready to learn. So you have a whole bunch of learning resources. If you want to learn managerial skills or business skills, you can do that. Or if you want to learn technical skills, you can do that. So there's a learning platform which is available to every Infosys employee, including interns, free of charge. So there are courses, you will get certification and all of it. This is pretty much self-driven. However, the part that is not self-driven, so if you want to learn anything on your own from this platform, you're free to. On top of that, so every project has an intern or two of them working together with a team present. So for example, when you're already working with a team of people who work in this project day in, day out, you learn how they work. What is it that they do every day? So it's a great exposure to a daily life of a working professional for you. You get to be a part of the team and share your insights. So all you would be the owner of your own project. Nobody's going to come in and tell you what to do and what not to do. However, your mentor is going to guide you. So you would have weekly conversations or conversations every twice every week with your mentor, who's going to guide you and help you understand where you're going right, where you're going wrong. But the rest of it is on you, so you can figure it out. That is one thing. So you learn team work as well as ownership. Next is, of course, there's technical skills, because you're already working on a technical project. So you learn about the technical skills. And over and above that, you have a huge networking scenario happening. So there are leaders from the company from all units. So right from every CXO that we have, our CEO, our COO, CFO, CMO, everyone, to everyone who is like leading a unit. So for example, there could be somebody who's leading data science, there could be somebody who's leading engineering. So everybody comes in and talks to all the interns and gives them an insight into, and it's a very candid conversation. So you can ask them questions, you can ask them, what are you doing, and how did you reach the place you reached, and all of these questions. So you learn from all of these leaders, as well as a network of interns. So there are so many interns who are interning with us every day, every year, at least 300 interns. So you get to build this huge network of interns with you. So you keep learning. Yes, please.
Would people be working on site at the Sydney office or remotely, or be a hybridization of both?
Yeah, great one. So basically, it's totally dependent on you. We prefer it to be hybrid. Like, we would not ask you to come to office every day. But if you just come in like once or twice a week, that's great, because then you get to interact with people in the office. You get the feel of the place. Otherwise, you're just holed up in your own room and just doing your thing, and that's no fun, really. So you can have an understanding with your mentor, and you can just, maybe your mentor and their team come to office once in a while, right? Probably they come to office. So most teams come to office at least once a week. So they probably come in on Thursdays or Wednesdays or something like that. And you can just understand if they're coming in, which day of the week are they coming in on, and you can just meet them on that day. So you can do hybrid. You can come to office every day. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. But yes, just that we want you to not do this completely online. While that's an option, I personally encourage everyone to not do it completely online. Yes, please.
So when they are getting projects, right?
Yes.
Actually working on the real project, some real problems, or just some made up problems by the.
Good question. Very good question. Thank you. So the question, I'm just going to repeat the question for everyone online. Yeah, thank you. So the question is, are interns going to work on real projects or made up problems? This is my most favorite question of the day. So you are going to have real-time problems to work on, because no real company probably has the time to sit down and make up problems, because they already have a lot of problems. And the second is, if you don't work on a real problem, what's the whole point? So you get paid as a part of this internship, and we pay about 3,300 Australian dollars every month, and it's for 2 months. So if you're going to get paid, if you're hiring someone, training them, giving them so much experience, giving them so much mentoring, and paying a bit of money, then why not get them to do some real work? Why make up a problem for them? So of course you get a real-time problem to work on. Yes.
So you guys just like partner with the government or just actually giving any resources to the government that they also actual
It's a project from the Infosys. No, it's not a government thing. Yeah. Thank you. Actually, on that note, oh yeah, please. Yes.
So is the problem that's currently going on with other companies that we're working on, or is the problem that already been solved by InfoSys and it's like this clear knowledge regarding the project? Because as right now, it's doing a project with another company, so this might give a project that's already been solved by them, and this might want to go with other solutions that we can provide. So it could be a bit like that, or kind of thing.
It depends. It is going to be the former in all likelihood, because if we have solved it already, then we don't need like opinions to solve it anymore. But if we have, so it's mainly like problems that we are still trying to solve. So if you've already solved it, it's very less likely that we will give you a problem where, and we hired 300 interns. So at least 300 problem statements come in at the very least, because we also give people options. So there's more than 300 that comes in. So, so at least 300 problem statements. And if those problem statements, I mean, they're not of one type. So they're of many types. So mainly, let's say if you're an MBA student or somebody with a business course, would actually get a problem from, hi, there's Alana waiting in the waiting room. Should I let her in? Yeah. So, if you're a business student mainly, then you would mainly get a problem regarding a client, something that you're trying to solve with a client or a market. If you're working as a part of the engineering team, you will mainly get a problem that we're trying to do in terms of innovation. So let's say, for example, so let's say, for example, we're trying to, let's say, build a robot which can read faces. So yeah, you would be part of a team that's trying to do that. And on that note, I actually wanted to show you a video about, this is by the first batch of Infosys Instep interns in Australia. And I just want you to see this because the next batch onwards, they actually did it virtually, but the first batch that did it in person, we have a small video from them. So let's see what all those interns have to say. Okay, share sound.
Every day is a new day. You know, you often picture IT job as just a desk job where you're just sitting down doing the same thing, but it's so open-ended. There's no clear guidelines when you're innovating brand new technology like what we are doing.
Almost weekly we get to do something different new, so whether it's a talk from a senior that's really insightful and we can ask a lot of questions, all the way to like taking us to the Australian Open and we get to watch a few games.
What I'm really passionate about is data science and machine learning, so I thought InfoSys was the perfect place to foster that. For my Instep project, I've been working alongside other interns and my project mentors to develop a customer suggestion project. The task was to use customer spending behavior to recommend products to customers and generate vouchers for these customers dynamically.
As I'm majoring in virtual reality, it's a very niche course. The way that the virtual reality major works at Deakin is just looking how virtual reality can change everyone's day-to-day life, whether it's viewing open houses for real estate or being able to watch a sporting game from the comforts of their own house. InfoSys have created a tennis application that is very similar to what we have learned. It's very rare that I see the things I learn in a workplace, but I've seen that at InfoSys.
Our project is an AI network inspector where we teach a computer to recognize network equipment and tell us as well if the equipment is in the right configuration. During my Instep internship, I loved being challenged more than anything. It really forced me to develop the skills that I've been wanting to develop in my own time, but I just haven't had the motivation, or I haven't known where to start. But being here and being put on this challenging project really forced me to get out of my comfort zone.
I made a lot of friends throughout this experience with people that I don't normally expect to. Coming from a university background, I feel like at uni you kind of fall into your group and you get a very like-minded cohort, versus here at InfoSys there's been people from all different kinds of backgrounds, and I've gotten to understand like where they come from and get new perspectives on a lot of things.
The free food and the table tennis have been pretty good as well. Table tennis daily, having competitions amongst other interns, it's been fun.
I found the Instep program has been very built around me. Whether it was a very easy application process where it all ran smoothly without very little barriers, or whether it's just the environment that we work in, with other interns just learning in a very healthy place. I've found the entire experience to be very welcoming to me, and it's something that I will cherish for the rest of my career.
Great, I guess that answers a lot of your questions. Yes, no, more questions? Yeah. Yes.
So most of us around playing with data or programming, what do you have along the lines of cybersecurity?
Oh, great. So this was, again, 4 years back. So that's not when cybersecurity was great in Australia, at least. But yeah, right now we have a lot of stuff going on in cybersecurity. One of our main customer segments, industry segments, is banking. So with banks, we need a huge deal of cybersecurity and to put security in place. There are many things that's going on in cybersecurity, right from, so the kind of projects that I have seen in cybersecurity could be I'm not a technical person, so pardon me if I'm using terms that are not very technical. So basically segregating the kind of data that, as a customer starts getting a lot of data, how does the system automatically segregates this kind of data and puts in different layers of security on that? That is one part. And the other part is segregating different kinds of data to train the models about what sort of data is to be gated and what is not. Also, a lot of work has happened in training models regarding emails. So let's say like phishing, spam emails, and et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, those are the three major kinds of projects I can remember about cybersecurity that interns have worked on. Yes. Any more questions? Yeah, I see there are none in the chat. Well then, I want to show you one more video. Basically, so show of hands, how many of you follow Australian Open or any tennis tournament for that matter? Oh, great. And then how many of you have seen the name InfoSys during the Australian Open? Great. No, it's not Wimbledon. It's Australian Open, Roland Garros, and ATP. Yeah, Wimbledon, I think, is Accenture or IBM. Yeah. Sorry? All right. So, well, just let us see what do we do for Australian Open, really. Again, this is an older video because stuff is not happening for the past 2 years. So, but sorry, I forgot to share.
Iconic, legendary, historic, As Melbourne Park opens up for a new Australian Open, once again fans and athletes will experience 2 weeks of glory and passion. But this time, a new Australian Open experience awaits them. As InfoSys joins Tennis Australia to reinvent the game as we know it, what's next is a digital sport for a digital world. And it begins in a new dimension. For the first time anywhere in the world, tennis is served up live in virtual reality to truly immerse those watching in the agony and ecstasy of each moment. And from the next way to see comes the next way to train, to unlock championship levels with data.
It's really an immersive experience. As soon as you've got the camera, the lens on, it really feels like you're actually on court. Yeah, I feel like this could be the future.
The future of tennis meets the future of retail. A real store within the virtual world, paved with a tribute to urban pop culture.
Tennis Australia are really excited to partner with InfoSys over the next few years.
We are looking at how we can further enhance the fan experience and fan engagement using the digital and the AI technologies by providing data insights.
We have a very clear vision for the way forward, and it starts with the partnerships like we have with InfoSys. The only way we believe you can move forward is with the future of technologies.
On court, the story of each point will be told with InfoSys Match Beats, a new way to visualise and analyse the game as it unfolds. And every moment of brilliance will be uncovered with AI Clips, an artificial intelligence platform that uses thousands of data points to spot every game-changing pattern and produce highlights in real time.
Watching the match beat, you can actually go back and rewatch the match and get straight to the points and see what the opponent's doing well. It's really good to have that tool.
This partnership is all about how do we bring new experiences to the Australian Open? How do we leverage that technology to improve the game and to expand the boundaries of the game, like using big data to really provide advanced analytics on what's going on in the game.
Even as the game is being reinvented, beyond the court, the future of business is being reimagined at InfoSys Confluence, which brings together those navigating their next. Here, tennis and technology converge in a common quest for excellence.
It's fabulous to hear about how other organisations are dealing with the challenges of digital and then learning around InfoSys' framework. So it's been a really great experience.
As a viewer of the sport, there's a lot of things that you can get out of the use of technology, the additional information that's being given to spectators.
Business executives learn the secrets of greatness from one of the game's greats and explore the makings of a digital enterprise with InfoSys and Tennis Australia, who are together creating new possibilities, making the Australian Open one of the most technologically advanced and innovative experiences in the world of sport.
This partnership will provide us tremendous opportunity to bring in new experiences, which will engage the tennis fans, which will engage the players, the coaches, and everyone associated with tennis in a very, very compelling way.
A new era of tennis has arrived, where we are one with the game, where the next way to see, train, engage, play and win is where the digital and physical worlds are one, where we experience the next now.
And like I said, this was 4 years back when we were doing a lot of data analytics for this. But since 2020, we also launched a virtual platform. So it was the tennis virtual platform. So because people could not come in person to watch the matches, they could watch it virtually in a 3D platform. So yeah, that is pretty much it. And I think we have covered the time. And but if you have any more questions, I would be happy to take them. Just before I go, I would like to give you all something. If you can do this for me, 1 second. Oh, no. Okay. So I hope this QR code still works. If you can just scan it, and there is going to be one tiny form, and if you can just, fill it out for us, that'll be really helpful. Yes. So that's that. I'm going to share this with everyone online. So if you can also, oh, where is this? Sorry, guys. So everyone that's online, you can also take this and take just scan this quickly and fill out the form. That'll be really helpful. If you don't want to do it, that's also okay. If you see the flyer, Suzanne, I'm going to send you like a virtual copy of this so you can share it with the people online. So at the bottom of this, there is an email ID. You could also send your CVs here, but this is definitely easier. Thank you. Awesome.
Be unmuted. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Toy, and I'm sorry again for the pronunciation, for coming to the university and talking about your wonderful Instep internship program. There's been a lot of information and further information on the website. If you're interested, please do fill in the form that by this QR code here. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. We have Teo has organised pizzas. I'm so sorry. So if you're happy to remain and have some pizza, there's plenty there for everyone. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you everyone for joining us online. We hope to hear from you real soon. And if you have any questions, you can always, you have my full name. You can find me on LinkedIn. There's only one person which has the same first name and second name as me. So hit me up on LinkedIn or write to that email address. I'm just going to put the email address on the chat as well. So, oh, thank you, Myra. Thank you for that. I just read your message now. So yeah. This one. And is the mail address you can write to. If you want to write to me directly, I'm just going to leave it here. Yes. So feel free to let me know anything that you have in your mind. If you don't want to write to a common ID, write to me personally, and be very happy to schedule a call, talk to you, and let you know. Thank you. Yeah, I think we can stop recording. Stop recording.